So next we're going to be looking at 2.3, which is about the associative property. Let's look at the key concept.
Associative property of addition. Adding 2 and 5 first, and then adding 3 equals 10 cubes. Adding 5 and 3 first, and then adding 2 gives the same result, 10. Since both expressions equal 10, they are equal to each other. In the arithmetic example, regrouping the order of the 2, 5, and 3 did not affect the sum. By substituting A, B, and C for the numbers 2, 5, and 3, you can state this algebraically. Changing the grouping of the numbers that you're adding does not change the sum. Associative property of multiplication. You can use blocks to help model multiplication expressions. What happens to the product if you regroup the 4, 2, and 3? Start with 24 blocks, but arrange the bottom layer differently. After 4 layers of blocks, the wheelbarrow is empty. Both models use 24 blocks.
So if you think about PEMDAS, parentheses comes first. They're saying regrouping with parentheses does not change the answer.
Equal to each other. In the arithmetic example, regrouping the order of the 4, 2, and 3 did not affect the product.
Do you see how they move the parentheses?
By substituting A, B, and C for the numbers 4, 2, and 3, you can state this algebraically.
So changing the grouping of factors or addends does not change the product or the sum. On to part 1. The associative property of addition says that you can change the grouping of addends in an expression without changing the value. So notice the numbers are the same in the same order, but they're moving the parentheses. Grouping the 4 and the 6 is smart because their sum is 10, which is easy to add to other numbers. So here they have 13 plus 4 plus 6. Okay, again, 13, 4, and 6, but they did the parentheses, which will make the person go first while solving this. Well, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 13 is 23. Where if you go over here, you know 13 plus 4, well, 13 plus 4 is 17. And a lot of us, it'll take us a minute to add 17 plus 6. So regrouping the 4 and the 6 is smart because it helps us add the numbers easier.
A pilot's schedule for the month of May is 63 hours in flight, 75 hours at work but not flying, and 25 hours on call. Use the associative property of addition to write 2 equivalent expressions. Show the total number of hours the pilot spent in flight at work but not flying, or on call.
So they want us to underline this information and figure out an expression to show the total number of hours the pilot is spending in flight, at work, but not flying or on call.
How should you group these numbers? What makes the most sense? Grouping 63 and 75 makes sense because they represent the hours the pilot spent at work. On the other hand, grouping 75 and 25 makes sense because their sum is 100, which is an easy number to work with.
So we know that he works 63 hours. I'm going to start with the parentheses so that we know to go first with this. And he spends 75 hours at work, but not flying. And then in addition, he spends 25 hours on call. Well, is there an easier way I can move these parentheses to make this easier? Yeah. We can do 63 hours in flight plus I can regroup this 75 and 25 because we know that's going to give me 100. So again, the numbers are all in the same order, but we're just switching the parentheses and regrouping it so it's easier for mental math. Go ahead and copy that down.
Use the associative property of addition to write an expression equivalent.
They want you to find an expression equivalent to x plus 2 plus 3 by the associative property. So go ahead and look at these answers, and which one do you think it is? Remember, associative property means that you're regrouping, you're keeping the numbers in the same order. The correct answer should be x plus parentheses 2 plus 3 because the add-ins are the same order but with different grouping.
Evaluate the expressions to determine whether you can apply the associative property to subtraction. Explain.
You'll find that multiplication and addition share a lot of properties that subtraction and division do not. This is a new way to think about operations. Up until now, I bet you've thought of addition and subtraction as a pair, since one undoes the other.
So let's use PEMDAS to do this, okay? This first one, well, what's 10 minus 5? 10 minus 5 is 5, and 5 minus 3 will come next. What's 5 minus 3? 2. Let's go over here. What is 5 minus 3? Because we have to do parentheses first. 5 minus 3 is 2, and 10 minus 8 is 8. Is 2 equal to 8? No, so this will not work for subtraction because it is different than addition.